Hey guys, welcome back to Automation eLearn. I'm your friend Suresh Dubey, and in this video I'm going to discuss why this and super method should be the first statement in constructor. So if you are using this and super method inside constructor, then it should be the first statement. Guys, before that I have already covered many other topics in Java and Git, so you can refer this playlist. You can visit my channel and you can refer the playlist accordingly, and you can watch the videos. In each and every video I have discussed core concepts which are related to Java and Git. So as per your need, you can refer those playlists and watch the videos. So let's start today's discussion. To understand today's topic, I'm going to refer a simple code snippet in my Eclipse. So I have a class using super method, and this is a constructor of type public, and I'm just printing a simple statement inside constructor. So this is the simple program. You can also consider it like you have a couple of variables over here, and then you are accepting those variable in the constructor. So basically you have a parameterized constructor, and while creating an object of this class, you can pass the variable value accordingly. But I don't want to make it more complex, so this is the simple code snippet that we will refer to understand this. Just a class and a constructor. Here I have a simple print statement, and after this, if I'll call super method, then we will get a compile time error saying constructor call must be the first statement in constructor. So that is the today's topic. We will understand why super should be the first statement in constructor. So here I have called super method, which is not the first statement. That's why we are getting a compile time error. So let's understand couple of points about super method. Why do we need to call this, and what exactly happens when we use super method? So what happens is, whenever we create a object of child class, for example, here I have a main method, and inside that, if I'm creating this object sm, so during the execution of this statement, constructor will be called, and once constructor is called, then it will start processing these statements. Whenever we create object of child class like this sm, but why this is a child class? Because object class is the super class of all the classes. So it is like extends object. So even though you will not mention this, you will not extends object class explicitly, but still object class will be treated as a super class of all the classes. So here also object class is a super class, and this class which I have defined is a child class. So this we can remove. You don't need to mention that explicitly. So what happens is, whenever we create a object of child class, so here I am creating an object of using super method class. So what happens is, first parent class or super class object should be created. So that is the concept, that is a fundamental concept that we need to understand. So whenever we create an object of child class, first object of the parent class should be created. But how we can create a object of parent class? So super method will call a parent class constructor. In our case, super method will call constructor of object class, because for my class, object class is a parent class. So super method will call parent class constructor, and object for super class will be created. So that is the sequence. Whenever we create a object of child class, super class object should be created. How we can create? We can call super method. It will call parent class constructor, and parent class object will be created. After that only child class object will be created in the memory. So that is the flow that happens behind the scene when we create any object. You can also consider this like, okay, you have another class which you can extend over here. Suppose you have another class called ABC, you can extend. So in that case, your ABC class is the super class. Using super method, this is the class which will act as a child class. So this concept applies equally whether you extend any class or not. So here I am creating an object of my class, but before that, object of super class should be created, right? object of object class should be created before creating this sm object. So okay, we are calling super method, but here we are getting an error. Why? Because of this concept. So here what we are doing is we are creating a sm, it's calling a constructor, and here first statement is print statement. So at this point of time, super class object is not available, is not present in the memory, it is not created, right? To execute statements present in child class constructor, super class object should be created first. Otherwise we cannot proceed further, will not get this output, right? So that's why super method should be the first statement. So I'll cut it from here and I'll paste it here. So now we are not getting any compile time error, because as soon as this constructor get called, it's calling super method. So here super method is calling constructor of parent class. Here if I'll open declaration for super method, then see this is the object constructor. So this is the constructor of super class object class getting called whenever we call super method here. So calling super method should be first statement, so that object of super class can be created, then only it will move ahead to execute all other statements mentioned in this constructor. So that is the flow that we have to understand. So now we are not getting any compile time error, and if I'll execute this program, then we are getting this in the output. What about if we will not call super method? So let me comment this. So now also our program will run perfectly fine and we are getting this output. Why? Because compiler, whenever we compile this program, compiler will by default add a super method here. So that was all about super. What about this method? So there is one more method that is called this. So that should also be the first statement in your constructor. So what this method do is it call the constructor of the same class. Super class was calling a constructor of super class, and this method, this is going to call a constructor of this class only. So suppose here I have another constructor, and for example it's taking one integer value like this. So this was a non-parameterized constructor and this was the parameterized constructor. So I can access parameterized constructor using this keyword. So I can use it like this. So this will call constructor of the same class where this is being called. So in this case, this statement will call a constructor of this class which is accepting one integer parameter, which is this one. And here also we can print some statement from another constructor, for example. So now if I'll execute this, so we are getting this from another constructor, and after this print statement will be executed and we are getting this in the output. Alright, so that was all about this method. So here also if I'll cut it from here and paste here, we will get the same error. Constructor call must be first statement in the constructor. It should be first statement inside constructor, just like super. Let's try to understand what will happen if we will call this and super at the same time. So here we are calling the super method and this method as well. Just now we understood these two methods, super and this, should be first statement inside your constructor. So here super is the first statement in this constructor. So we are not getting any compile time error here, but here we are getting the same error, like it should be first statement. But if I'll make this first, then we'll get the same compile time error for super as well. So it means this and super method cannot be called, cannot be used together. So those were the concepts that I wanted to cover with the help of this program. These are the fundamental concepts, and once you understood this, you can apply it while working in Java, and you can also apply this knowledge in the interview as well. That's all for this video. I'll see you soon with another great topic in Java. Meanwhile, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Thank you for running this one. Thank you.